Green Tree Productions is proud to present Duncanville Weekly News. It's the good news just for the City of Champions, Duncanville, Texas. And now, here's your host, John Thompson.
Hello, world, America, Texas, and Duncanville, and welcome to this edition of Duncanville Weekly News for the middle of May 2016. Glad you're logged on and watching. Well, as you can see, we're back at the formerly baseball field at Duncanville High School, but now, as you'll see shortly, the Coach Bob Rombach field. On this show, of course, we're going to be in the dugout, and Coach Scott Fahey will be in here shortly to go over some pretty exciting games the Panthers have had in the last couple of weeks. But first, last Saturday was local elections, and here come the results. And also, the Pantherettes had a reception and their banquet, and here are some highlights from those events. Local elections were last Saturday, and in City Council District 2, Steve Rutherford was an easy 72% winner over Gwenda Joyce Lowe. In District 4, Ron Dotson, the incumbent, was a winner over Lorraine Hood Jack. And in the mayor's race, it was a overwhelming victory for Mayor David Green, as he wins 63% of the votes. The school board election, of course, there was no election because incumbents Phil McNeely, Tom Kennedy, and newcomer Joe Veracruz had no opponents. Congratulations to you winners. The last Thursday evening in April, the Pantherettes held a community reception at the Hilton Garden Inn to celebrate their championships. Jack introduced the players.
Ladies and gentlemen, 6A state champs and the national champs for 2016, the Duncanville Pantherettes.
DISD Mike Kreitzberg was the master of ceremonies, and he introduced a representative of Max Preps, the National Sports Information Company, and
we rank over 14,000 schools across America, and out of all 14,000 schools, for the third time in the last 5 years, the Pantherettes are ranked number 1.
Then a representative of the Army National Guard made their presentation. Then our state senator, Royce West, followed by State Representative Yvonne Davis, presented resolutions honoring the Pantherettes.
Is your integrity and your character. So it is a pleasure if we go out to represent all of us. When we go to Austin representing Duncanville, we think we represent.
Mayor David Green congratulated the teams and presented each member with a City of Champions headband, a City of Champions victory towel, and a key to the city. The DHS head trainer, Alex Hawkins, was recognized by the Ben Hogan Sports Medicine, a UIL sponsor, for his great service to the athletic teams at Duncanville. The USA Today rep presented the National Championship banner to the team. DHS Board Chairman Phil McNeely reflected on the championships that Duncanville High School has won over the years with the 2015-16 Pantherettes, the state and national champions being the latest. Then Coach Seth Morgan and senior captains Sierra Johnson and Maddie Townley closed the reception. Congratulations again, Pantherettes. A week later, the first Thursday in May, the Pantherettes held their banquet in the Blue Gym at the Sandra Meadows Arena due to construction, and Coach Kathy Seth Morgan was again the master of ceremonies, and after introducing special attendees, including the cake guy, Chad Fitzgerald, who supplied dessert and gold medals for all the attendees. Then the freshman blue team coach, Robert Irwin, was introduced, and he reviewed their season and introduced members of his team that was in attendance. And then Austin Brewster, the 9th grade red team coach, reviewed his season and introduced his team members in attendance.
First, I would like to thank the parents for their support and allowing me to coach the girls. It's been an honor. And my two managers, Kayla Smith, Kim Bishop,
The junior varsity was next, and Coach Betsy Pemberton Orr thanked all the parents and reviewed their season and presented her players. Then it was varsity time, and Coach Seth Morgan presented her assistant, LaGina Howard, for her remarks, and she expressed how happy she was to be coaching at the high school where she played. Then Coach Seth Morgan reviewed the ups and downs of the season and explained why the theme "Use It" was this year's choice, which included some questionable calls at a tournament a few years ago, and then the upset early last year in the playoffs. She mentioned last year's loss in a playoff against Plano, and it was conventionally revenged 3 times this past season. Then the team awards were presented.
And we've done that for 12 months, 13 months now. And it's the difference in why we're successful. We chose, but they voted the most valuable defensive player to Tay Davis. Offensive player to Zariel Green. The most valuable player voted for the team this year was Sierra Johnson. The Fighting Heart Award is the person that everybody just felt had the biggest heart on and off the court with everything that we did. And the team voted Kanisha Davis Fighting Heart. And then the player that they voted for the Whatever It Takes award, I was really proud of. There was quite a few that got votes, but this one got the majority. And it's just that person that gets down and does the dirty work, especially on defense and on the boards and whatever else it takes. And also did it off the court. The award is Whatever It Takes, and the team voted it to Madison County.
As usual, the banquet is closed with a singing of the school song, and this really helps people move on out.
It's springtime in Texas, and that means Duncanville Panther Baseball right here on Duncanville Weekly News and the Panther Dugout Show. The Panther Dugout Show brings us updates and highlights of the past few games and a peek ahead to the Panthers' next games. The Panther Dugout Show is brought to us by James Memorial Chapel, the Pope Financial Group of Raymond James, by the Wolverton Company, serving the heating and cooling needs of the Duncanville area for longer than anybody can remember. Jim McDonald State Farm Insurance Agency, right here on Main Street. Remember, State Farm and Jim are there. Leon Miller Commercial Properties. Need some commercial space? Call Leon at 972-709-7181. By Roma's Italian Bistro at 100 South Main. Call 972-298-5900 for free delivery or dine-in. Entries are prepared freshly cooked for every order. By Glow Family Dental, General and Cosmetic Dentistry. Your smile is their top priority. They are here at 427 West Wheatland or call 972-298-2027. Glow Family Dental. And by Ambit Energy. You have power options. Call me at 214-918-9981. You'll be glad you did. And now with the Panther Dugout Show, here's John with all the highlights.
Hello, Duncanville baseball fans, and welcome back to the Panther Dugout Show. Well, we're not in the dugout. We're kind of out in left field. And as you can see, Coach Scott Fahey is here to tell us about the Panther baseball goings on. And Coach, the last time we were talking here, you were kind of out of the picture. Tell us what happened as the season boiled down.
We're going into the last couple of district games. Grand Prairie had 4 wins and 7 losses going into our matchup on Friday night. We had to win our last 2 district games in order to force a tie for 4th place. And so once we got the ball rolling, it was anyone's game, and we'll check the highlight. The first home game at Coach Bob Rombach Field. We hosted on Friday night the Grand Prairie Gophers as we look at some of the alumni as they return to honor Coach Rombach. Panthers must win this game to extend their chances for reaching the postseason. As the coaches go over the ground rules, as we pick up action in the bottom of the first, with 1 out, George Trevino hits a line drive single into right center, as that gets the Panther offense jump started. Alex Sanchez then follows with a single through the left side. That puts Panthers at first and second, and brings up the Panther cleanup hitter, Salinas. Salinas bounces one to the left side. The third baseman elects to try to get a force out at third, but Trevino slides in and beats the force play to extend the inning. Grand Prairie coach wasn't too thrilled with the call at third. And then with 2 outs, the bases loaded, Andrew Budzinski hits a chopper to third and legs it out. Beats the throw to first base as Trevino scores from third, and the Panthers take an early 1-0 lead. In the bottom of the 4th, the Panthers trail 2-1. Andrew leads off with a ground ball that he beats out by hustling to first base. Hector Cron then comes up and executes a hit and run with a line drive single into left field. Panthers now have runners at first and second with nobody out, and Nick Chavez lays down a sacrifice bunt to put 2 Panthers in scoring position for Devin McPhail. Devin promptly hits a single back through the middle against a drawn-in infield. That plates 2 Panthers and gives the Panthers a 3-2 lead as McPhail hustles into second base on the throw. Raul Gonzalez hits a ball back to the middle, and with no play at first, Shortstop holds on to it, and the inning extends. Still with 2 outs. Runners at first and third. Trevino then hits a sacrifice fly to right field. That plates McPhail as the Panthers score their 4th run and take a 4-2 lead into the top of the 7th. And this contest ends with a ground ball to second base. And the Panthers keep their postseason hopes alive with an impressive 4-2 win in front of a big crowd on a special night for the city of Duncanville. Panthers travel to DeSoto just before some threatening weather moves in on a Tuesday night. Raul leads off with a walk. He would later steal second base. And then on a wild pitch, he takes third base. That sets up Trevino at the plate, who then delivers a long double into left center field. That scored Raul from third, and the Panthers still have a runner in scoring position. With 1 out, Oz comes to the plate, and he hits a long fly ball in the left field. It gets past the center fielder, and Ozzy ends up with a double as Trevino scores to make the score 2-0. With 2 outs, Andrew singles. That plates Oz all the way from second. And with the score now 3-0, Hector draws a walk. Nick Chavez comes to the plate and draws another walk. That loads the bases for the Panthers. And McPhail draws a walk. The Eagles had a difficult time finding a strike zone on this night. With the score 4-0, another ball, this time in the dirt, plates another Panther, as the Panthers take a 5-0 lead into the bottom of the first. We sent A.J. Castro to the mound to win this ball game for us. He shut down the Eagles in the bottom of the first without allowing a run. And as we pick up action in the top of the second, George grounds into the hole at short. He legs it out at first base, but is later caught stealing second for the first out. Alec comes up, hits the ball deep into left center. A big wide turn, but he's held to a single by the good throw from the outfield. Ozzy comes up, gets his second hit of the night. Hard hit ball in the left field. Both runners would advance to second and third on a wild pitch. And with Noah Martell at the plate and courtesy runner David Budzinski on third, he outruns the throw to the plate to push the score to 6-0. With the runners at first and third, Andrew flies out right here for the second out of the second inning. And then we have lightning rolling in. This game ended up being delayed due to wet weather and wet fields until Thursday. As we pick up action, Hector Cron's at the plate. We just stole second base with a doodad play. Cron hits a ground ball to third. A high throw allows another run to score as Oz crosses the plate to make the score 7-0. And we take that 7-0 lead all the way to the top of the fourth. In the fourth, with the Panthers leading 7-1, Alex Sanchez hits a ball hard in left field. It's not played smoothly by the left fielder. Alec ends up at second base. And with 2 outs, a hard hit ground ball to short, misplayed and thrown low to first, allows Andrew to reach safely, and puts the brothers at first and third. Budzinski then runs another doodad. The catcher for DeSoto throws this one in the center field. That plates the Panthers' 8th run to run the score to 8-1. Hector Cron follows with a fly ball in the center. It's misplayed and allows Andrew to come around and score to make the score 9-1. The Panthers held off a DeSoto offensive rally. And then in the top of the 5th, Devin reaches on an error by the catcher. Trevino lays down a very well-placed bunt. McPhail staying aggressive on the play. Advances all the way to third base. That brings up pinch hitter and recent call-up Ray Jaramillo. He launches a fly ball to center. That allows Devin to tag up and score from third and make the score 10-1. And then in the top of the 6th, as the Panthers look for another run to hopefully finish off this contest in the mercy rule, Noah Martell leads off with a walk. And with Andrew at second, the single on the play scores Andrew for the 11th run. And as the Panthers finish off the Eagles in the bottom of the 6th, this game is called due to the mercy rule. And the Panthers have finished with a district record of 4-8.
Scott, great finish to the regular season, but of course now you're tied for 4th place in the district and meet those Grand Prairie Gophers again. Go over the highlights of that game with us.
All right. Here we are at Quick Trip Park against Grand Prairie. We picked a neutral site for this one-game playoff as we get a look at the fans coming to this ball game. Really neat venue for the kids, an all-turf field, plenty of chairback seating for the stands, or for the fans. A lot of it was in the shade, and a few patches left down in the sun. There's a wild bunch. And we have our fan support coming out to this big contest for the Panthers. We've played well in the second round and earned the right to play this playoff game. We sent George Trevino to the mound, hoping our number one can polish off the Gophers and get us into the postseason. In the bottom of the 4th, with no score and 1 out, Trevino helps himself by singling in the right center. And with 2 outs, Ostelinas gets hit by a pitch that pushes Trevino to second. And then Noah delivers a single back through the middle. With 2 outs, Trevino hustling around third. He scores. The catcher's throw to second bounces in the shallow center. Salinas comes around from third base, and that makes the score 2-0. Martell hustling to second sure made a big difference on that, scoring another run. Still with 2 outs, Andrew hits a bullet down the third base line. He stretches it into a triple. Martell scores on the plate. And the score is now 3-0. Ball in the dirt, and a good read by Andrew makes the score 4-0. As that lead holds up into the top of the 5th. Bottom of the 5th, Roll hits a sharp ground ball to third. It's misplayed and mishandled. Roll ends up at second base on the error. Trevino helps himself out again with a very well-placed bunt to get Roll to third with one out. Then the Panthers execute some offense with a man on third and less than 2 outs. Alex Sanchez blisters the ball into the right center gap. And this ball rolls to the deepest part of the field. Sanchez all the way around to third for a stand-up triple and a 5-0 lead. And with a courtesy runner at third, Ossolinus greets the new pitcher with a long fly ball to center as Chris Polk touches home plate for the Panthers' 6th run. The 6 runs would hold up as we turn a big double play in the top of the 7th with men on first and second. That gives the Panthers 2 outs. And then a final play. 2 outs and a man on third. The fly ball to first ends this matchup as the Panthers celebrate their trip to the postseason. Panthers played outstanding defense all day long, had timely hitting, and a great effort on the mound by Trevino.
So District 8-6A is complete, as well as all the other districts in the state. And here's the final standings.
Midlothian remained undefeated at 12-0. South Grand Prairie and Mansfield tied for second at 9-3, and a playoff game was won by South Grand Prairie. The Panthers and Grand Prairie tied at 4-8 for the last playoff spot, and you just saw the highlights of them beating Grand Prairie to move on in the playoffs. Cedar Hill and DeSoto are out for the summer.
After finishing 4th place in our district, we've earned the right to play the District 7-6A champion in the Coppell Cowboys. They're ranked very high locally, statewide, and nationally, and we go into battle with the best 2 out of 3 series. And John, take us to the highlights.
Friday night was a great night for baseball, and the largest crowd of the season was on hand for the by-district Game 1 in the best of 3 series. Lots of mustaches were visible. 4, count them, 4 umpires worked this game. The second game ever played at Coach Bob Rombach Field. There was a slight breeze, and on the bump for the Panthers was sophomore Jorge Trevino. And we go to the top of the second with no score, but Coppell plates a couple and lead 2-0. Going into the bottom of the second. And assistant coach Kendall Ladd looks kind of lonely down there at first base in the coaching area. The Cowboys threatened again in the 5th, but this fly out to left left it 2-0 Coppell after 4.5. In the Coppell 6, they have a runner on and 1 out, and this hit a home run over the left center field fence to the cafeteria. Made it 4-0 Cowboys after 5.5. In the Panther 6, Jorge leads off with a base hit to left. And then Alec rolls one through the right side. And Jorge goes to second. With Osvaldo at the plate, this wild pitch moved the runners to second and third. And when Osvaldo walks, it loads the bases with nobody out. freshman Noel Martell delivers a base hit to left that scores only 1 run because he hit the ball too hard. And this makes it 4-1. And the bases are still loaded. With one out, sophomore Hector Crone hits it to a deep shortstop area and beats it out. And the courtesy runner, Chris Polk, scores, and it's 4-2. Bases still loaded. Freshman Ray Harmillo hits the ball to second, and when Coppell can't turn the double play, 2 runs score to tie the game at 4 apiece. But that was it, and after 6 complete, it's 4-4. These guys didn't like what happened in the top of the 7th as the Cowboys answered with 4 runs of their own to lead 8-4 going into the bottom of the 7th, and with 2 outs, Osvaldo grounds out to second to end it. Final, Cowboys 8 and the Panthers 4 in Game 1 of the bi-district series of the Texas High School Baseball playoffs. On a beautiful Saturday morning, it's up to Coppell for a 1 o'clock game, the second of the best 2 out of 3 series in the bi-district at Coppell. Here's a sampling of some of the Panther fans that were on hand on this kind of windy but otherwise great baseball afternoon. In the top of the first, Jorge slaps a ball too deep to play for a base hit, but was left stranded. Adrian Castro, freshman, was on the mound for the Panthers in Coppell for this second game. In the second inning with no score, Andrew draws a base on balls. And then Hector hits a shot out to center field. So we got runners on first and second. But with Devin at the plate, they get caught off base for an out that kind of stops the inning. Coppell scored 3 in their second. And then in our fourth, Adrian gets a base hit but's left stranded. The Cowboys picked up a couple more runs, and it's 6-0 going into the top of the 6th. Then trailing 7-0 in the top of the 7th, Jorge strikes out to end it. Final score in the second game of the bi-district series, Coppell 7 and the Panthers nothing, as this series is over and as the Panthers finish this season on what I consider a high note with the way they played the last couple of weeks and the fact that they've got everybody but a couple of 3 or 4 coming back. Each show we have a play of the week, and Scott, you've got a bunch to choose from this time. Who's it going to be?
Well, this week's will be in the 1-game playoff against Grand Prairie with 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th. Noah Martell hits a single in the center field. That scores George Trevina from second base. And on the catcher's throw back to second to try to get Martell out, Oz Salinas scores our second run. And the Panthers never look back on their way to a 6-0 victory. And that's why it's the play of the week.
The play of the week is brought to us by the Pope Financial Group of Raymond James. For all your investment needs, call John or Don at 972-780-0533 or come by 222 East Wheatland right here in Duncanville It's the Pope Financial Group of Raymond James.
Well, Scott, I know you're disappointed, but you lost to a pretty good team.
Yes, sir. Coppell's a very, very strong opponent. They had still have a great season going. But our Panthers played really, really well down the stretch. We're proud of our young men. They battled through a lot of adversity, and looking towards the future, it looks bright. We got a lot of young kids on this team, and looking for a lot of them to come back.
Yeah, I noticed the last 4 or 5 games they seem to mature. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Well, Scott, thanks again for another good season. We'll be back on or before May the 24th with the final show of this 2015-16 season. As we close, let's see some more scenes from the Pantherette reception and banquet. And don't forget about the Duncanville Chamber Golf Tournament that will be on Monday the 16th. For all information about the golf tournament, call the Chamber at 972-780-4990. Then on Friday the 20th, the annual Burgers, Bowling, and Business event at Redbird Lanes will be held, and once again, call the Chamber for all of the information. The fire truck pull then is the next day, Saturday, and call Officer Doug Sisk at 972-780-5027 for all information regarding the annual fire truck pull.
Good teams, really great teams. But they were not only ferocious and mean and tough, but they actually are sweet kids. They really are, parents. We raise their daughters well. They're sweet, they're courteous, they're respectful, they're sensitive to others, they tolerate each other really well, they uplift each other. This whole group of kids do that. Last year, there was a little bickering going on in typical high school stuff. This year, it just wasn't there. These kids were tough to each other on the court. But off the court, they were such sweet girls. And they took care of each other, and they loved each other. And they had each other's back, and they lifted everyone out there. Not only that, but they probably have the best sense of humor of any team I've ever coached. They're not afraid to laugh. They do different things, and kids are just funny, and they appreciate the humor, and the kids appreciate it. Coaches appreciate it with them. I've learned, even if I lose that last game as a coach, how painful it is to start over. But even when you're 39 and 0, I still can't tell you how painful it is to start over. I don't want to let these guys go. I don't want to let the chemistry and the whole journey and everything that we've been through together be over. But it is. It's over. This is our last celebration besides our July 4th parade. And we're moving on. We've got to move on. These group of kids are special. I can't thank them enough for everything that they've given to the program, to each other, to the team, and what they've accomplished. It's just been, it's a record for here at Duncanville, where we were, did I make that list somewhere? We were #1 in the nation in 5 different polls. That's a first for Duncanville. No team has ever been #1 in the nation.